Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the King and welcome back to the channel. Today, we have an exclusive look at the brand new Tome trailer. Now, this came out a little bit earlier, but I wasn't able to actually watch it as soon as it came out because I've been having a ton of PC issues, but hopefully they will be fixed soon and we'll get our new PC as well. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to jump on into this. This is my first reaction to it. We're going to watch it through and we're going to break it down afterwards. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and watch.
Life is a paradox.
Ooh, we got some pictures of some survivors. There's a nurse. We've seen this part before. There's Yui.
We are but walking contradictions of past,
Okay, well, that's an ow.
Selves. A saint in one world, a killer in another.
Jeez.
And both true and not true at the same time. If I
There's the old lady.
Would I change anything?
No. What is she wearing?
Differently, knowing that the slightest change could trigger a snowball that tumbles and grows.
Oh, there's Yui.
To become an avalanche of death.
Jeez. Yui. She froze. Damn, the observer has seen some shit. Huh. That's pretty interesting. Wow. So there we go. Divergence. The brand new Archives Tome level 6 with memories of the nurse Yui and the observer. This is pretty interesting. Available on February the 10th. Now we know. Look deeper into the fog. Interesting. That was actually a very interesting watch. I didn't see it before. This is my first reaction to it. A lot of interesting things. Let's take it from the top again. So we can see the observer here actually. So we're going to have memories of the observer, which is quite interesting. So confirming some of the things that we had from the data mining things that these guys were coming on in, but that's very interesting that we have the observer. We don't know much about him. You know, we don't know too much about him, and I'm pretty happy that we're actually going to be getting some more information on him and why he's here, why he knows all these things, and this overarching story. And especially what he's saying, if you really listen to what he's saying as well as saying that like life is a paradox and would he go back to change things and risk the big snowball effect, essentially, the butterfly effect. So yeah. So we have the nurse here, and then we can see here that she's obviously having a vaccine or serum or whatever the sense may be. She has red hair. DBD loves their red-haired characters, so we have another red-haired character coming on in, and she's looking like a survivor. We never really seen her without. There's Yui, and obviously we just seen what Yui just did. Yui looking pretty badass here. She looks pretty determined, and she's looking more like the killer than the nurse is. And then the next scene is just a hand. You just see a barren hand, and then there is the step on it. And now we actually see the observer. We are going to get the memories of the observer, as we know. It's going to be very interesting to see exactly what his story is and why he's here and everything like that.
Saint in one world, a killer in another.
So this is quite interesting as well, because we're seeing a bunch of corpses here on the floor that are frozen over. And he's basically, like, if you listen to what he's saying, you know, we're walking contradictions, saint in one world, a killer in the other.
And not true at the same time.
True, not true at the same time. It's very interesting what he's saying, actually. I still don't know what she's wearing. It's pretty funny.
Do things differently, knowing that the slightest change could trigger a
we just need to see more. I want to see more. There we go. Yui killing another person, drops them in. So we're getting a little bit glimpse as Yui
and destruction.
Man. And then he just watches as she frees on over. Symbolic that he's, you know, the observer. He's just observing. So the most interesting part is what we're seeing here, right? Now, you listen to what the observer is saying, right? He's saying that we're walking contradictions, we're a saint in one world and a complete opposite in the other. You can see this is all Yui. Every person here is Yui, and Yui's been killing herself essentially. And you can see that this is probably the older self. She's killing herself essentially, which is really, really interesting. It's kind of like the grandfather paradox, but with yourself. So if you go back in time to kill, or forward in time, I guess, so maybe no paradox at all. But it's interesting, and just see the observer just looking. It's really, really interesting to think why there's so much Yuis in one place. Why are all these alternate universes coming together? And how does this one Yui have this power to either traverse or to find the other Yuis? Yui got a buff. She's a big time killer. We always thought Nia was a killer, but holy hell. It's just all Yuis. It's quite interesting. It's really, really interesting. So DBD's introducing the entire parallel universe kind of ideology here. And we always knew that this was kind of a thing, especially when you have like other survivors in lobby. At least that's the way that I thought about it. Like if there's two megs in the lobby, it's just parallel universes. That's the way I looked at it. But now it's like officially what they're going for. Maybe that's the explanation for why we see ourselves in the game, or whatever case it be. I'm just going on a tangent right now because I'm still trying to digest everything here, and why Yui is essentially murdering different versions of herself. And what's more intriguing is that the observer is just there and he's looking at all of this. Can the Yui see him? Does Yui know he's there? It's just really, really interesting to see. And it really shows the dark and sinister past of some of these survivors as well. And not only that, but if it's alternate universes as well, some of these might be perfectly innocent survivors. People. It's interesting though, because they're going on with this recurring theme of all these survivors doing something bad, and that's why the entity chose them essentially. You know, if you put it together, most of the survivors have done something bad, with the examples of like the White killing or poisoning, not killing, his boss, and some of the killers are picked on. So it's quite the opposite of what we're getting. Like the reason why the killers are so sinister is because they had such a soft past, but the reason why the survivors are put on endless, relentless trials is because of the sins that they've committed in one way or the other. And as you can see here, committing even more and more. It's a really interesting concept, and I wonder what the lore bits is going to get us, and they're really, really going for it with the lore. I always said that DBD would do really good if they have an overarching story that people are connected, kind of like COD Zombies, or any game in general. So this is quite interesting to say the least, and I can't wait to hear. And again, this is going to be coming out on the 10th, and it's interesting as well because we're not seeing anybody else. We're just getting Yui, Nurse, and the Observer. Normally we get a lot of people, but we'll have to see. The cleansing of Crotaspren, Crash and Burn, and In Search of Things Lost are what we're going to be seeing. And eventually we'll put together a big theory and talk about all of this stuff and why this is here. And it's interesting to see, essentially. Very, very interesting to see. And you could just, again, see Yui pushing herself off. And yeah, this video might get demonetized. But yeah, it's really awesome. But I hope you guys did enjoy. I really am happy that I could bring this to you guys. Again, as a Fog Whisperer, I'm allowed to show you guys this a little bit early. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I don't really know too much of what to make of it. There's a lot of things going on in my head right now, but I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. With that being said, I'm the King. Make sure you subscribe for some more daily Dead by Daylight content. We got a lot of cool things planned this month in February. We're going to be posting a lot of amazing content, and we're going to be streaming a lot on Twitch, so please make sure you guys come out on Twitch as well. Drop a follow. We'll be live there. As always, I'm the King. I tip my crown to you guys, who will see you in the fall.